Well, happy Monday. Great to see you. Just how are things? How's it going right now?
Everything's good. Just finishing up some interviews today.
All right. Yeah, of course. Got some training, I'm assuming, as we're in the gym here.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, congrats on the big news here of getting to, sign with the PFL, get a fight coming up here, pro debut, all these things happening. Really cool to see. But I just got to wonder, like, how did it come to be in the first place? How did this signing, did they approach you? You approached them? What's kind of this backstory to get to this point?
The PFL called my manager and it came up as an idea like, hey, this girl should be in the PFL. She might be the perfect fit. And they gave me the call. And now we're here.
All right, worked out pretty smoothly then, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm curious, what, you were supposed to make your pro MMA debut in January, though, with Flex Fight, which you'd been fighting for them already. What kind of happened there? Was the opponent fall out? What kind of happened in that area?
I had to back out of the fight because my hand was not ready. My hand was fractured for a
Okay.
few months and I trained very hard for that fight, but I re-injured it in the sparring. So they had to back out of the fight and now we're ready for this one. So hand is good.
I mean, it kind of worked out in that case then, like bigger opportunity,
Yeah,
platform, all
very
that
nice.
stuff.
That was really good.
You didn't need surgery or anything, right? It was just kind of needed more time to
You know,
heal.
just needed some physical therapy and healing, but it's back.
Good to go, ready to punch people.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, like I said there, had that amateur career in flex fight and, fantastic stuff. I'm curious, a lot of people don't usually go through the amateur ranks. It feels like as much these days in combat sports. So I love asking people who did, like, what did you learn the most from that amateur time to get you ready for the pro debut?
I learned a lot. I learned how to carry myself as a professional, and I went through a lot as an amateur fighter. And I always wondered why, some people take amateur fights and they're like, all right, let's go. And they just win very like they train and you know, but for me it was always very difficult. And I always wondered why. And now I'm starting to see why, because there's very big things for me in the sport. So
Right, right, of course. And yeah, I mean, you kind of need that experience, just kind of practice makes perfect, because not to say it's practice, but, the more repetitions you get in, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And so you started with kickboxing, right? And I know that you joined Tiger Schulman's gym at like 12, like very young, right? So that's always
Yeah.
fun. But I'm curious, like, what made you want to get into it in the first place? Like, why start punching and kicking people?
Well, why not chase your dream? It's a blessing that I get to wake up every day and I get to do this because I've always wanted to do this as a kid. And the fact that I'm doing it now and I'm not somewhere where I'm not supposed to be is a blessing. So,
All right. And were you kind of a sporty person before that? Did you like any other things, activities, or whatnot?
you know. I always like punching and kicking things
Okay.
growing up. Yeah.
Did you
I
have
love
any?
training.
Yeah. Did you have any influences then, or like inspirational people involved with fighting, or was it just like you saw it one day? Maybe it was Ronda or seeing the sport or things like that.
Absolutely, Rhonda. Yeah. Every girl's watched Rhonda and wanted that, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. When I was a kid, yeah.
So then, from kickboxing to MMA, did you just kind of want to do more things? Like that's, of course, MMA has everything involved, mixed martial arts and all. But from going from kickboxing to MMA, what was the reasoning there? Because you did fine in kickboxing, of course.
Well, I wanted MMA from the beginning.
Oh,
From the
okay.
beginning, I wanted to be a professional MMA fighter and go to MMA. But my coaches, they have a certain. They're like, go kickbox first. Let's make your kickboxing really good. And I listened to my coaches, and you know, I did that. And when it was time, and I said I want to do MMA, I went into MMA.
Okay. So what was the transition there, like doing that, going from just, the striking, then getting the grappling involved? Sometimes I know people maybe struggle with that part, but how was it for you?
Very good. I did a lot of grappling tournaments coming up as a kid. And now too, obviously, I love competing and I compete against very great fighters here every day. So
Yeah, of course, there's definitely a lot over there. And I wanted to ask you, like, who some of your favorite fighters are. I mean, we mentioned Ronda there. I know Lyman Good hanging around, plenty of good, talented
Yeah.
people. But any that come to mind for you?
The fighters in my gym are all, super inspirational. And growing up, I was always very inspired by Lyman, and now he's in my corner. So it means a lot. The younger version of me would have been very happy to see.
Yeah, I'm sure. And it's kind of always fun to reflect on that, I think. And, you get to this point and going to continue to grow and experience all these things. But from right now to when you were starting out, let's say that 12-year-old Melissa, right? What would you tell her? What advice would you give her now if you could, like, go back in time?
Stay away from bad girls and bad friends, and stay away from just bad friends. Stay away from all those girls in school. Just go to Tiger Showman's and train. That's your real family. And one day you may not understand why you had to, why you never had any like real friends in school. God had better friends for you later on down the line in Tiger Showman's.
All right. Yeah, works out indeed. And
Yeah.
so you say that,
Yeah.
I imagine, did you have bully issues or anything like
Yeah.
that growing up? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
all the time. Yeah. Girls love picking on me, and I was always getting made fun of for my looks. I was never like cute. I had like an awkward stage. Like all the girls were really pretty and they were all like, getting all the boys and like living their life and going out. And my parents were always super strict on me, and I looked like this little skinny girl who was defenseless. But I wasn't defenseless. I trained at Tiger Showman's, and I also got made fun of for that. And I got into a lot of fights growing up in school.
That is so weird to get made fun of for being a badass, kind of. That's a strange
Yeah,
thing.
I got made fun of a lot and picked on by girls. There was like a target on my back. I don't know why. I guess God just wanted me to fight from there. Like, here's your experience for the future. Go on the street and fight girls on the concrete. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Then you look at this point now and the success you're having. I'm curious, have like any kids from school, or grown up now, reached out to you like, "Oh
I don't
wow,"
know
and
where
tried to
they
be
are.
nice?
I They're nowhere to be found when I tell you those girls that like those girls that tried to start with me and posted funny stuff on me, and then I have no idea where they are, and I don't want to know, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my dad who picked me up from school when I would get into fights with girls, and he would give me a high five, and it was not my fault. So
Didn't start it, so no problems there.
no, no, no.
uh, but once we got to the actual fighting career, Melissa, I wanted to mention, you had that RNC in your amateur MMA debut, which great finish there. And, it's always nice, I think, to see fighters who can finish, especially early on like that. And for you, I'm curious, does that one stand out as maybe your most satisfying victory so far?
That was nice because the camp was so hard leading up to that fight because this is my first MMA fight, and I was, my coaches were very concerned like about the grappling. Oh, grapple, 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 grapple. My coaches pushed me very hard, harder than you know than than I could fathom. And it's these long noodle arms just wrapped around her neck, and I was like, yay, you know. It's
Yeah.
nice to finish early. Trust me. You're healthy. You're out of there.
Yeah. No damage, none of that. Just nice and
Yeah.
easy.
You get to the next one quicker.
For sure. For sure. So I'm curious, like, how are you with like pressure? Are you somebody who kind of enjoys that, having, is it extra motivation? How do you deal with it? Because of course, coming up and starting your MMA career as a pro in PFL, that's a big deal, big stage, all that stuff. But when you started with that MMA fight, like we just talked about, do you like those kind of feelings? I guess.
I embrace it. Nerves are gonna come there. They're always there. It's part of it. But as long as I stay focused and I do what I have to do, there's no pressure.
Yeah, of course, just motivation, right?
Yeah.
So I love nickname stories, Melissa, and you're Static. Where did this come from?
Well, so I grew up in Astoria, Queens, and I was born and raised in Astoria. So there's like a term. This is staticky. Like you're very staticky, like you're always trying to fight someone. But I really was not trying to fight anyone.
Right.
These girls tried to fight me. And they're like, oh, Static. And everybody says Static. I'm like, oh, here we go with the New York accent. And my dad's an electrician. He has electricity companies.
Ah,
So I was like, let me spin this around. And I love lightning bolts and thunder and lightning are my thing. So I said static electricity. Let's do it as that.
okay. I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So, you sound a little bit
Yeah.
split on it. Like you don't like the start of it, but I think it fits.
It's the name.
Yeah.
I prefer Melissa Balic, but it's okay.
Yes, yes, of course. Whatever people recognize you by, I guess. But
Yeah.
so the first opponent here, Kristina Katsikis, she's been around for a little bit now. I mean, just what are you making of her as your first opponent here in the PFL? Are you somebody who does like tape study yourself, or do you let the coaches kind of handle most of that? Just what are you kind of making of her
A
as your first
fighter
opponent?
must watch tape. You have to watch tape on your opponent. You have to know how you're going to train for the fight, and you have to see it. But I've trained with a lot of different styles of girls, so I'm prepared for whatever's coming that night.
All right, of course, yeah. Gotta expect the unexpected, as I like to say. So
Mhm.
there you go. So ideal outcome for you then, Melissa. Would you like another submission? Would you like that knockout? Or is there an ideal way? I'm sure you're
If I
envisioning
see
things.
if the knockout comes, if I see the knockout and it comes, great. If I win by decision, great. If I win by submission, great. That's God's will for me that night, and I'm ready to go out there. I train as hard as I could possibly train. Let's do it.
Of course, don't want to force anything, right? Just let it come as it does. So,
Yeah.
all right, Melissa. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, but I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm very
Thank you.
excited. Yeah, very excited for the debut and the big opportunity at PFL. Congratulations on getting it. It's cool again how it worked out. Had to get through the hand pain, but we're here now, so it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. And wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you.